Are we going live?
Yeah.
We live right now?
Yes.
Oh.
Hi everybody, happy Saturday. No. Happy Monday. That's anytime I have free time with my husband, I feel like it's a Saturday. So, happy Labor Day. I guess I should just say that. It doesn't matter what day it is. Happy Labor Day.
Labor Day.
And look who's here.
Me.
It's been like a year. So, well, it can't have been that long because I started the podcast in February. But it's been like almost, it's got to be at least 6 months since he's done a live video with me. So
Our contract talks fell apart. We finally settled on a good financial number for me to join.
I didn't pay him enough.
That's right.
He demanded a raise.
Mm-hmm.
I said I have to make more money first. I started making more money. I was able to pay him to bring him back to you.
Woohoo!
Hi, Becky. So, today we thought, hey, we don't have anything to do this morning. I got my Shakeology here. I got my coffee here, so I'm good to go. I got my breakfast and my coffee. And we thought, hey, why don't we do a live Q&A?
I've got my water. Go Army.
Yeah. Oh, is that your Army shirt?
Yeah.
We're both wearing Army shirts. Mine is the right side out. His is inside out. Hi, Barb. So, yay, yeah, Shakeology is perfect for breakfast. I souped mine up this morning. It has chocolate vegan, a whole pint of strawberries,
A pound of beef.
some collagen, and like a scoop of greens or something like that. So it's like more of a meal for me, so for my breakfast. Hi, Shireen. So today, if you guys have questions while we're talking, go ahead and drop them below because we'll do them live. Andrea, hi, Andrea. Otherwise, I have some that we'll kind of cover for you while we chat here. But since it's Labor Day, I thought that, hi, Sarah, that we would start with, what do you do on holidays? How to navigate holidays, right?
Yeah.
And I have some really great tips for this because I send them out in my newsletter and I can't remember what they were.
Really? You can't remember?
No, okay, I can remember. I can remember.
It's going to be a really short podcast.
What were my brilliant ideas? No. All right, so planning ahead was, I think, the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Planning ahead, which is really important. So, are you cooking today? So normally, like, what's the most common thing you think that people do? Do you think they're losers like us that stay home, or do you think they're really cool people that go like to barbecues and stuff like that with their friends?
Well, first of all, I don't think you're a loser if you stay home. You may not like people.
We just went from like we're not losers to we don't like people.
Yeah.
People,
No.
we love you.
Yes, we love everyone.
No, we just are tired.
So,
Life.
tired of it all.
No, we needed a day.
Yeah. So I think it doesn't matter whether you go to a party because sometimes people have holiday things like grilling.
No, we're not into the advice part yet. I'm just asking.
Or not?
Do you think people are losers like us and stay home, or do you think more people go to like barbecues?
I think it's a 50-50 split, but I'll have to look at the data.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right, guys, tell us. You're watching. There's 4 of you watching. Are you staying home today, or are you being social and going somewhere? Are you going to families, or are you having people over? That counts as social. So 1 if you're staying home, 2 if you're social. All right, now we can get into the advice part.
Okay.
All right, go back to, it doesn't matter if you're social or you're staying home. To be successful, you were going to say something.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say, I think there's 2 bits of advice that I would have on navigating the holidays. Right.
I love you so much.
I love you. What's that?
Yeah, she's going to the in-laws. Okay, Sarah's staying home.
So 2 ways.
Sarah, really what I meant to say is all the cool people stay home. Because that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I love you all.
So what I was going to say was 2 things. Have your non-negotiables. So that would be number 1. Like, if you're like gluten-free and then you go to this party and it's like 14 pieces of pizza and like an entire French loaf, well, obviously you don't want to eat that. But then the second thing would be, hey, it's a holiday.
You don't want to eat the entire French loaf?
Well, I do. But the second thing...
What if you're in Europe?
When in Rome?
I mean, would you eat the French loaf in France?
Yes, I would.
That's a whole other conversation, guys, but I probably would too. So, yes, but what you're saying is know what your goals are. And we've talked about that a lot, but what I was going to say is plan ahead. So, like, whether you stay home or whether you go visit people or whatever, sort of know what the plan is. So like for us staying home, it's not a problem, right? We're going to eat the way we always eat. We might just sort of make something a little special for the holiday. Like tonight we're going to have steaks. I mean, super healthy, right? Although a lot of people, it's funny, steak and bacon people kind of put off on the not healthy list for whatever reason. But it's not, it's fine. So like that's a little bit of a treat maybe, but if you're going to somebody's house, that's where it gets a little tricky, right? And that's what you're saying, like if you're going to go and, you know, they're serving pizza or whatever. So I would just ask my friends, be like, hey, you know, what are you guys going to have? Or if it's a barbecue or if it's like a bring your own thing, even if it's not a bring your own thing, bring your own thing. Yeah. Because, I mean, nobody's going to be upset that you brought a side of potato salad or, you know, you can't, you know that whatever they're going to make for dessert, you know, is like those little, you remember those cookies from Kroger that were like the circles that had like half an inch of frosting on them? Yep. And then they were so good.
Oh, yeah, they're really squishy.
But it's literally all sugar. So, like, if you know that that's the kind of dessert they're going to have there, just, you know, make your chickpea brownies or make your homemade dessert or whatever it is that you think you're going to hit the temptation wall with. Wherever you are, just bring something. Nobody's going to be upset by that. Hi, Krista. Hey, Krista, let us know if you are staying home today with a 1, or if you're being social
with a 7,
with a 2, or you can just tell us where you're going. Okay, so that's number 1. Really, like, plan ahead. You know, feel free to take your own stuff. But like, let's say you're hosting. I sent out a newsletter. By the way, if you guys are on my newsletter, gluten-free beer. So she said 1. She put like 10 ones.
Is that a 7 though? There's like a lot of ones.
No, it's just 1. See, all the cool people know. Watch, we're gonna end up at my family's house this afternoon. We'll be like, nope, we're not staying home. So, what were we saying? I can't even remember. Sarah said something about gluten-free beer, and I got distracted. I saw a lot of ones.
Yeah.
So basically, you know, if you're staying home, obviously you're in control. My in-laws are making ribs, so I'm bringing some grilled chicken. Wait, what's wrong with ribs, Becky? Share what's wrong with ribs. Do it, stay home. Squirrel! Krista, you know me so well. I'm like so ADD this morning. It's crazy. I like have a plan for the video, but I don't have a plan. Also, Patrick is here, and he's obviously very distracting. So you talk for a second while I kind of get everything together. But
you need a moment?
Yep, I need a moment.
Okay. Do you need to leave?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Have you seen My Maniacs? I'm not in control. Oh. I don't know, Krista. You're the most organized mom, parent, teacher.
It's all an act, isn't it, Krista?
It's all facade. You're my hero. I tell everybody that. Diffuse some clarity. There you go. That's what I need. All I need to be more present is I need to diffuse some essential oils. That would help me focus and answer people's questions. By the way, this is supposed to be a Q&A, so as we're blabbing away, if you have questions, drop them below. Otherwise, we're going to go with questions.
So we're back on navigating holidays?
Navigating holidays.
Yeah, so eat whole foods. Eat whole foods and relax because it's a holiday.
Yeah, okay, so let's get to that part because we didn't talk about that at all. And a lot of times when I'm on here, I think I'm like, don't make excuses and do this and don't do that. And I mean...
She talks to me a lot like that, too.
It's really important.
I cry.
It's really important to know your non-negotiables and to not cheat and all this kind of stuff. But, I mean, there is a time and a place, right? So there's a difference between negotiable and non-negotiable and Monday and you know, just like a holiday or a family time. So let me explain really quickly. So if I have a non-negotiable, just because it's a holiday does not mean it's all of a sudden negotiable. Like a non-negotiable is non-negotiable 365 days of the year. So our main non-negotiable is that we're gluten-free. And there's a million reasons that we've talked about that, and I've done videos, and you can ask me about it anytime. But that's like our number 1, right? And I've shared this before. What we will splurge on, you know, like for Labor Day or for treats or birthdays or whatever, is like sugar, right? Like, no, it's not good. No, we don't have white sugar in the house. No, we don't, you know, eat a lot of desserts on a regular basis and all this kind of stuff.
Nor will we finish a 5-pound bag of white sugar on Labor Day.
Right, yeah. I mean, you're not going to, like, go off the deep end. But, you know, if you're at somebody's house and you're like, I made this gluten-free treat for you because I know you're gluten-free, you know that it's going to be, you know, not paleo, right? Like it's going to have sugar, it's going to have this, it's going to have that. And so that's a negotiable right there. And you're gonna be like, this is a holiday, I'm gonna enjoy it, and somebody was really, really nice and thought of me, you know. Or for you to be successful and you take a dessert to somebody's house, maybe it's not what you would eat every single day, but you're splurging. So there's a difference between your negotiables and non-negotiables, and splurging and relaxing and enjoying a holiday.
Yeah.
Do you have something to add to that?
I do not.
It's because I'm so amazing.
Yeah.
All right.
Should we, next question?
Sure, next
Okay.
question.
I know water is important when you're on a weight loss journey. But why?
But why? All right. Do you like his narration, guys? So, well, why don't you answer that?
Well, you just...
These people hear from me all the time. They don't want to hear from me anymore.
Yeah, water is important because it kind of lubricates your whole body. Helps your whole body do everything. So whether you're on a weight loss...
Hi, Mary. Oh, hi, Mary. This is my husband, Patrick. You guys would get along so well in real life.
Hi, Mary.
That's Mary from the pier in
Oh,
San Diego.
So no, it actually, you need water for everything, and especially in the weight loss journey, because your body's starting to change and things like that. So it's probably under some what could be called healthy stress as you're going through some weight loss. So you need...
What's that called? It's called hormetic stress. Isn't that what it's called? Hormetic stress?
I have no idea, but I
Guillermo,
take your
if
word
you watch
for it.
this video, you need to tell me, because you use that word all the time.
Yeah.
I think it's hormetic stress. It's like hormetic stress is stress, hi Kylene, that is beneficial for you. So like a temporary beneficial stress.
Like running.
Right. Well, yeah.
16 miles.
So, what were you talking about? Oh yeah, water. So, which you have and I don't right now. But yeah, okay. So why is it important drink? This has water in it. This has water in it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Excuses.
Guys, share. Let us know below if you're staying home today or if you're celebrating with family and being social. Just drop a comment below and let us know. But so water during a health journey. Okay, so water is important always, right? This person actually particularly thought it was important during a health journey, a weight loss journey, like more so, and why? I don't necessarily think it's more important. Hi, Wynn. I don't really think it's necessarily more important when you're trying to lose weight, although people are going to put more of an emphasis on it, because like when you start living a healthier lifestyle and you're trying to lift weights and you're trying to lose weight and all this kind of stuff, you're generally just more focused on doing the right, hi CJ, doing the right lifestyle things, right? What's like the number one thing that we can do that we don't do? Everybody's dehydrated.
Push-ups.
Hi Dahlia. Water. And so, I mean, like, there's something, like, a lot of us just don't like to drink enough water. So when we switch into the whole eating healthy, like, trying to have a healthier lifestyle, that's one of the easiest, most basic things that people, like, really reiterate, right? But then again, he was talking about hermetic stress and, like, it being a beneficial stressor for you. It is important because you are starting to do things outside of your normal routine, right? You're starting to exercise more. You're starting to do, change your food and all these kind of things. Hi. So it's important, as Dahlia.
Oh, hi, Dahlia.
It's important to, I love that name, by the way. You know, it's a flower, and it's like a really, really pretty flower.
Hear that, Dahlia? That's pretty cool.
So, it's really, really important, you know, when you're exercising and everything, make sure you're hydrated. And what he was saying is your body is so much water. Your brain is water. Every cell in your body is water, and so, has 1% of water. And so you literally need to make sure that you hydrate your cells. Sort of like when we talk about food being information for your cells, and so it like tells your cells how to behave and how to respond and how to act. Then, same thing with water. Like, they have to stay hydrated in order to function properly. So I don't necessarily think it's more important on a weight loss journey. I think we just put more focus on it because we're trying to be healthier, and like that's one of the basic tenets of being healthy. And you probably all heard this before, but if you start getting thirsty, you're already starting to get dehydrated. So you have to stay on top of that. So why don't you share how much water people should drink?
Oh boy, I don't really know the answer to that question. And I'm
You
sorry.
don't really answer that?
No, it's not in my job description. But I,
How long have we been married?
a lot.
How many videos did you see me do?
I don't know. I can't remember.
All right. How much do you weigh?
Barely paying attention right now. I weigh
Such a jerk.
I weigh 165 pounds.
All right, so divide that by 2.
82.
Okay, that's how many ounces of water you should be drinking minimum a day.
Huh.
That's like the baseline, is half your body weight in ounces. So people have a lot of different, ways that they keep track of that. Maybe a bottle like this might have the ounces on it, and you know that I have to drink like 4 of these bottles a day or whatever. And, so, frankly, and this is sort of my problem. Hi, Teresa. So I don't really mind water. I kind of like to chug like really, really cold water. But a lot of people don't like the flavor. I mean, sometimes I get bored of it too, because you're just like, oh, I gotta drink water again. So a couple tips in order to kind of get enough in would be to have a full glass upon waking. If you want to add some apple cider vinegar, lemon, and honey to that to start a sort of...
You know who does that? Full glass upon waking? Cameron Diaz.
Oh, really?
That's the first time I read that. It was an interview with Cameron Diaz, and she said, I always drink a full glass upon waking.
That's why her skin is so beautiful. So you can also add apple cider vinegar, lemon, and a little bit of honey if you want to get your digestion going. So that's one of the things we did in my Get Gutsy group, and people just loved it. And you can do that before every meal so that you get the apple cider vinegar in if you have digestive issues. But that's one way. So upon waking or before breakfast, full glass before each meal, although try not to do it like right before you eat, because it does dilute your digestive enzymes if you're just doing regular water. And glass before bed. So then you have like 4 or 5 glasses throughout the day. Or you can add a little bit of fresh fruit juice, or even just fresh fruit, like cut up strawberries, like strawberries, basil, and thyme, or mint and lemon, or something like that, and just do like a whole pitcher of water in your fridge with a bunch of ice, and then cut up like a bunch of cucumbers and lemons and things like that, and let it soak. And then that way, every time you have to refill it, it's ice cold, and you're getting that infused spa water.
There's a comment.
I know, I was just going to say what I was going to say, and then I was done, and now I'm going to look at the comment.
Okay, sorry. I'm not.
What is the comment? What does it say? You read it. Okay.
I think it's...
Whoops.
Whoop.
Why
Whoops.
won't it?
Whoop. Whoa. Whoops.
I've heard that, honestly, if I drank that much water, I wouldn't be doing anything else. Oops. Oh, besides peeing. Oh, I know.
That's actually not a bad thing, though.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing. Oh, the other thing, because specifically the other thing I wanted to talk about with water is detoxification. So one of the things is when you're changing your lifestyle to be, generally more healthy, what are you typically doing? You're typically eating... Hi, Kathy. You're typically eating more vegetables. So what's the point there, besides vitamins and nutrients, is to increase your fiber, right? And why do you increase your fiber? It's so that you poop more. Why do you try to poop more? It's because you want to get rid of toxins, because if your liver is functioning properly and you're excreting regularly, then you're getting rid of these toxins that otherwise would recirculate in your body, cause fat storage, cause hormone imbalances, because if your hormones don't get excreted properly, they're reabsorbed, and that's what causes estrogen dominance and these ratios to be weird in your hormones and all this kind of stuff. So poop is really important for those reasons. Well, how do you get that to happen? You increase your fiber, but if you don't also increase your water intake, too much fiber can actually make you constipated. So in order to, when that's one of the reasons that people...
No one likes that.
Nobody likes that. So that's one of the reasons why, like, when you go into a more healthy lifestyle, people really focus on water. Well, you're also increasing your vegetable intake typically, and so you have to counteract that with enough water that your new healthy salads for lunch or whatever aren't actually constipating you and doing the opposite of what you're trying to do by increasing fiber.
Yes. Very good.
Did that sound smart and stuff?
It did. A lot better than my reasons. Yeah. Okay.
I don't know about that.
Which superfoods are easy to make, transport, and taste good for kids' lunches?
All right. I'm going to break this one apart. I didn't actually think about this ahead of time. But, and you can chime in anytime.
Oh, I plan on it.
But let's just throw out this end part. Hey, guys. Oh, yeah, please, Kathy, everybody that's watching, I want to know if you guys are staying home for Labor Day or if you're going somewhere for Labor Day, if you're being social. So just post below. Hi, Adam. I bet Adam's being social. I bet he's either hosting.
Adam's being something.
So, so what superfoods are easy? Okay. A couple of things about this. It says tastes good for kids' lunches. So,
Blueberries.
If you guys did not Rock the black and gold. Yeah, he's wearing it too. It's just inside out.
Yeah, my shirt's on
So,
inside
I
out.
mean, clearly. Children play dates. So, all right, so taste good for kids. So if you guys haven't already seen my Don't Let Kids Rule Your House video, probiotic recommendation. I will get to that. Can you remember that?
Yes.
Okay. If you guys didn't already see my Don't Let Kids, what was it? Don't Let Your Kids Rule Your Life, or Don't Let Your Kids, something like that. I don't know, video that I did last week. Go check it out. It's all about, like, you're in charge. So when you're talking about taste good for kids, you really, especially if you get them young enough, you sort of train their...
Get them young enough.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like, if you start...
If you steal them from somebody at a young enough age, you can influence them quite well.
No! I mean, if you start your healthy lifestyle when your children are young enough, you really train their taste buds. But, I mean, I get it. If you're starting, like, when they're 10, 11, 12, and they're used to, you know, goldfish, it's a little bit of an issue. So let's kind of tackle it from both sides. So, one is if you start your kids eating healthy from birth or from, you know, toddlers or whatever, healthy food is just going to taste good. So the whole taste good thing isn't going to be an issue. We don't want any more. Thanks a lot. You can keep them. So
they're scary and they eat too much.
No, but if you get them at a certain age, you can really sort of teach them what tastes good, right? And so that's the whole taste good thing, like, isn't really an issue. Let's say, though, you're transitioning later, like middle school, high school, stuff like that. So that's when I really encourage, you know, finding knowing your non-negotiables, hi Shelly, and finding the substitutes that correspond with your goals, but help them to align with you in that. So one of the examples that I give is, like, Keegan used to really like Cheez-Its and goldfish, and so I mean, we've totally, like, they're not options, they're not in our house, and they weren't really when we started changing our goals anyway. But, you know, that was a little bit of a difficult transition. Like, we didn't even start until Keegan was 7 or 8. So there are brands like Simple Mills crackers that they do have cheese crackers, but there's no chemicals, there's no, like, weird colors or whatever. It's just, and there's no gluten. So it's like things like cassava flour or almond flour. And then, you know, real cheese and things like that. And so there are options out there where when you sort of set your sights on a certain goal, and ours is typically to be gluten-free, some shade of paleo, basically focusing on whole foods, no chemicals, no preservatives, no hormones, all that kind of stuff. When you set your sights on those goals, there are brands out there, particularly now, that make your life so much easier. Because when we started, it was even hard, and that was only 5 years ago. And now it's like, if you're starting now, it's easy. Like, there's no reason, like, it's so easy. But the other one that I like to give an example of is macaroni and cheese, because that was literally, like, I think Keegan's brain, like, that's, like, it worked off of macaroni and cheese. And so initially when we...
easy to make as a single dad.
Yeah. Well, initially when we started changing all our habits, we did just get, you know, gluten-free mac and cheese. And so now, I mean, like, we don't even have that in the house anymore.
Right.
But maybe, like, I think last year for his birthday, he requested it, right? So when you're talking about taste good for kids, it sort of depends on what's your stance in the house, what are your goals, how long have you been doing this with them? Because sometimes, I mean, real food just tastes good, period. Like, we have to get that out of our head, that eating real food tastes like cardboard. It doesn't.
I think it's kind of like everything. It's like, if you're naturally wired to be negative, you've got to start changing that to be positive. So, like, you have to change the rewiring, or change the wiring in your head. Same thing with eating healthy.
Neuroplasticity.
You use big words. But the same thing, like if you're constantly bombarding yourself with processed sugar, when you eat an apple for the first time in, like, a long time, it's not going to taste as sweet. But if you get the processed sugar out in a process of about 2 weeks, and I'm sure there's a big fancy word that you would have for that, the apple will start to taste better. It'll actually start to taste more sweet, and then so you eat an apple 3 weeks later, and you're like, wow, this apple tastes really good.
Yeah, I think we did that one time. We eliminated sugar or something, and I had a handful of almonds. I was like, oh my gosh, these almonds taste amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, there's those levels of it. One, you just have to get your kids on board, and they're gonna like the food that you make. Period. And two, depending on the age that they are, there's a little more difficult, but there's substitutions that you can get through the transition that make it a lot easier for you. So that's sort of my approach there. But
yeah. I think there's two things with the kids. You gotta, number one, you're the boss, so you're in charge, not them. Kids don't
go watch my video if you haven't already.
The second thing is make sure you tell them the why and keep reinforcing the why with them. I think that's important, especially as kids get older. And like Keegan, he's really intelligent, and so I think reinforcing the why and hearing him being able to articulate what the why is.
Establishing physical correlation with how they feel when they eat a certain way. And so over time, we've been able to do that. Like me, I was just giving you an example because we talk about what we do a lot, but we don't always go back to our why and on here. But like with Keegan, for example, when we went gluten-free as a family, within about 2 weeks, we saw positive changes in his behavior and his mood and his energy levels. And pretty much anytime he cheats or splurges on something, we can tell because he'll get cranky, tired, get headaches, all this kind of stuff. Yeah. So, when you're able to sort of communicate that to them and say, let's just stop for a second. You're having a meltdown. Let's think about what you ate in the past 24 hours. You went to Susie Q's birthday party and stuffed your face with cake and ice cream.
We never liked Susie Q's family.
And now you had, hi Brooke, and now you're having this meltdown and you're really, really cranky. How, can you sort of put those two things together and realize what's happening right now? And they'll say, okay, maybe they won't in the first 2 or 3 times, but when it happens, over time, you're able to say, okay, hold on, let's think. What did you eat in the past 24, 48 hours? Okay. Do you understand now that this is how it's affecting you? And then, they don't want to be lashing out. They don't want to be excessively tired. They don't want to be getting headaches. So as they start being able to correlate themselves, it's really important that they end up internalizing it. So that communication is really important.
Yes.
Okay, good. So let's actually answer the question. What superfoods are easy to make, transport, and taste? Okay, so that's that's the other part of it. Like what's easy to make, right? So a couple things I'm going to throw out there. Things like Simple Mills crackers are really great. Like if you guys haven't tried that brand, it's an amazing brand. They taste amazing. You can put like just a little handful of crackers in there, and then depending on I walk the fence on dairy free or not dairy free. So sometimes I recommend it depends on who you are. But like you have those little cheeses that you can add in there. So maybe you have some Simple Mills crackers and some cheeses. But okay, I'll just clarify. If you guys haven't followed me so I can't like talk about cheese and not talk about this. If you get cheese, which is totally fine if you are good with dairy, but if you get cheese, don't just go get conventional cheese from the grocery store. Get raw, organic, grass-fed cheese.
What's the brand that we get?
Organic Valley or
something Valley.
Organic Valley, I think is what it's called. But I mean, there's different brands out there. Yeah. Like Kerry Gold has some, but make sure it's grass-fed, not pasture-raised, grass-fed, raw, organic. And if you're good with cheese, go with that. So maybe have some crackers, some cheese, some veggies, some fruit. The thing is, here's the thing. We're so used to certain ways of making meals. Like, right? We think in America we have to have certain foods for breakfast. And it's typically sugary or cereal or a pastry or eggs, right? Or for a kid's lunch, it's got to be a sandwich or it's got to be a wrap. Yeah. I mean, it's weird. We have all these like things in our head that it has to be this way. But, I mean, if you just sort of put together enough food, you can have some grapes, some cheese, some crackers, some vegetables. It's not technically like a sandwich or like a meal that you created, but it's plenty of food. And you just choose a bunch of things. Now, how creative is, or how wide is your child's taste palette? Like some kids would love to have like a thing of olives in there, So trying to get maybe some healthy carbs, some healthy fats, some fruit, maybe some vegetables in there. You can pack some lunch meat as well. You can make a wrap. Like if you get Siete as another brand, Siete, you can get it online or you can get it at Whole Foods. They now have, we just discovered. They had almond flour and coconut flour wraps for the longest time. And then we discovered cassava, which so far is our favorite because cassava is God's gift to everyone who's gluten-free. But yesterday we just discovered that they also have chickpea and cashew flour wraps. So, I mean, there's a ton of different options. So if you do want to make a sandwich or a wrap for your kid, you can do that. Hot dogs are also really great, but I would get organic grass-fed hot dogs, which Applegate does sell. So
Applegate has a lot of stuff.
Apple gas oil.
Yeah.
I mean, just bacon. You could put bacon in your, because that doesn't have to be hot, right? Because that's another concern is like in middle school, Keegan could heat up his lunches, right? So what do you send that they can't heat? Well, normally that is sandwiches and things like that. So fruits, vegetables, hot dogs that don't have to be hot, a wrap if you want to do like a siete wrap. I need ideas besides sandwiches. Oh, hold on. It says see more and then it doesn't let me see more. It's totally a mindset. I always think they need a sandwich. I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, we always think we have to have eggs for breakfast, or we always think, and then you start learning, oh, I can have leftover dinner for breakfast. I can have vegetables for breakfast. Yeah. So really you can just say, what do I have in the refrigerator right now that's healthy? I have some grapes. I have a siete wrap. Maybe I have some leftover bacon from, yesterday. And I have some coconut oil mayonnaise in there. Oh, I'm going to make my kid like this bacon tomato wrap for, and just pull out some healthy ingredients. And as long as you have some, shake it up every once in a while, it's fine. And superfoods was the other part of that question I wanted to pull out. Superfoods are, when you have like one food that has like a million benefits, I really sort of think that whole foods in general are superfoods.
Yeah.
So just get away from processed food.
I think what they tried to do with the superfood, and I could be wrong because I'm no scientist, but I think it was kind of along the lines of that, like here's a pill that'll cure all your ills. It's kind of like here's a food that'll cure all your ills.
Shakeology is full of superfoods. Let's just say that right now.
But I mean, I think the generally accepted ones are like blueberries, goji berries,
avocado. Oh, there's a great one to put in your kids' lunch.
Things like that.
Keegan loves avocado, just straight. Now I don't. I mean, I like guac, but you can get those holy guacamole packets. I mean, so there you go. So you have hummus, you have some vegetables, you have some grapes, you have some lunch meat. Mm-hmm. If you really want to splurge on a sandwich, Eban, E-B-A-N, it's not perfect, but it's one of the best pre-made gluten-free. Thanks, Sherry, and talk to you later. It's one of the best pre-made gluten-free breads that I found that you can get from the grocery store unless you're going to make it yourself. And one of the things you want to look for when you're looking at ingredients is actually whole food ingredients. So you don't want a lot of starches, a lot of chemicals.
Xanthan gum.
Well, I mean, that's in a lot of stuff. It's not the worst thing in the world. That depends on the person, to be honest. But you want more flours than starches. You want more real ingredients, like that you could technically make this at home. So Eban bread is not perfect, but it's really yummy. And if you really wanted to give your kids a sandwich or some toast or whatever, that's a great one to have in your freezer. And they sell it at Kroger, so it's really easy to find and keep. That's what I eat, and I love it. It's so good. So we like the multi-seed and the oat bread. Mm-hmm. Again, you guys, so just know, it depends on where you're at in your journey, how much you've discovered in terms of your food sensitivities, because it does have oat. It does have, all these different things in it that certain people may not be okay with if you're grain-free or whatever. But it's an option for those of you who don't have a problem with it. Or sometimes we make our own bread.
Yeah.
That's really, really yummy.
Next question. Butter. What are the best brands and options? There's one brand.
I know there's more brands actually, but go ahead.
One brand.
Well, there's one brand that we get.
Yeah, Kerrygold is what we get, and it's really
Why?
good. It comes in a big block because it's Irish.
That's it. That's why. It's got some Baileys in it.
Mm-hmm.
He puts a whole stick of butter in his coffee, and now we know why.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, okay, so Kerrygold is our favorite brand, but there's also, I can't remember the name. Oh, I think it's Vital Farms or Vital Choice. The egg brand that we get, Vital.
Oh, really? They have butter too?
Vital Farms, Vital Choice, Vital.
Egg Farms? Egg Vital Farms?
Anyways, that brand.
Vital Egg Choice?
Does also have grass-fed butter, but if you compare it at the store, Kerrygold is usually a little bit cheaper, so we do typically go with Kerrygold. But the point is, always grass-fed. Always, always, always.
By the way, that's Kerry. K-E-R-R-Y.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. So that's our favorite. But if you have to be dairy-free, if you're super sensitive, so ignore regular butter. Always do grass-fed, 100%. But if you're super sensitive to casein or lactose or whatever, and you need to be 100% dairy-free, you can still actually use ghee. Ghee.
Yeah, that stuff's good.
It is so good. We actually tried it not too long ago, and oh my gosh, you guys, if you don't like vegetables, all you have to do is melt some ghee and drizzle it all over.
And those, those big tubs like my mom used to buy when we were kids, like the Country Crock, and it was like this brownish like tub.
Yeah, don't do that.
And it was like,
don't do margarine, don't do low fat, don't do any of that garbage. I got the Simple Truth organic butter. Is that a good brand? I don't know if it's grass fed. Well, there's your answer. Has to be grass fed, in my opinion. IMO or whatever the acronym is. So I would just check. I would just check and see if it's grass fed. If it's not, I would switch. Ghee also, again, really, ghee is actually, it's not just for people who have allergies or sensitivities. It's freaking delicious.
Yeah, it's really tasty.
It tastes amazing. I don't know but what ghee is clarified butter. And so what that eliminates is all the casein proteins and lactose proteins that people actually have a problem with. So if you're really, really sensitive, most people can still handle ghee, no problem at all.
Okay. Is yogurt good for the gut or not? I've read conflicting articles.
Well, you answer this and see what you say.
Yeah, I wasn't ready for that. I think, once again, it depends on the source. It always depends on the source. Like, if you're just going for, like, Dannon whatever, it's probably not.
Fruit on the bottom.
Yeah, fruit on the bottom. I know that some people will talk about Greek yogurt, and I think if you can tolerate that, once again, depends on the brand.
I love that he's looking at me, like, and he's saying it, but it's, like, in the inflection of a question.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
Why do people usually go for Greek yogurt?
What? Oh, it's the protein content.
That's why people typically recommend. So, like, if you're in the health community, they're like, go Greek. Okay, so this is what I'm going to tell you about yogurt.
I didn't really know the answer to any of that.
I know, so I'm going to help you out here.
Okay.
Hold on, I'm choking on my coffee.
It's choking on your pride is what that is.
All right. By the way, this is Bulletproof Black Coffee. What's in here? It's really good. Bulletproof is an amazing brand. They test for toxins, and so there's no mold, there's no extra toxins in there. Hi, Jamie. So, all right, yogurt. So, what's our view on dairy? Let's start there. Like what? Like when you choose, we just talked about this. When you choose dairy, what are you looking for?
Is this an inquisition?
No, I'm just helping you sort of process. Like, okay, so yogurt is dairy. So, what are the recommendations we look when choosing dairy?
Grass fed.
Okay.
Pasture raised.
No. Grass fed, not pasture raised.
Okay.
Okay, grass fed or organic.
Oh, organic. I was like, or not grass fed?
Okay, all right. Raw. Okay. So, very good. You are so smart. So, the problem with yogurt is typically that what people are trying to do is make it taste good, right? So, let's make sure we answer her probiotic question too. All right. So, typically with yogurt, people are trying to make it taste good. So, what do they do in order to do that? They'll put a lot of sugar in it because typically yogurt, if it's just like raw yogurt or it's like real organic natural stuff, it's really zippy, right? So it's really tart. So, hi Amanda, good morning. So to counteract that, they typically put a lot of sugar in it, or they'll put fruit. But most of the time, it's not just fruit, it's fruit syrups. So they'll put like some sort of like jam or jelly, and what does that have in it? A ton of sugar. So always avoid yogurt on the bottom, fruit on the bottom, or, any yogurt that says low fat or, some percent of fat or whatever, because what is that? That's a highly processed product. So if you get milk from the cow and you turn it into yogurt, it's going to be a full fat product, right? So is yogurt good for the gut? If you're talking about the highest quality, natural, like normal, tart, plain yogurt, yeah, absolutely. It's good for your gut. Why? Because it's a whole food probiotic. Probiotics that you're able to find in a whole food source, that food gets through your entire digestive tract, which means the probiotics get through your entire digestive tract, which is what we want. Hi, Sherry, which is very helpful, right? For your microbiome, for your health in general, for your digestion, for your hormones, for your detoxification, for everything. But typical yogurt that you're going to get at the grocery store is not that beneficial. Yeah, you're still going to get the probiotics, but you're also getting this garbage.
Yeah, there's better sources if you want something for your gut.
And tons of sugar and all this kind of stuff for flavors. So there are only a few yogurts out there that are actually like legit beneficial, worth the effort of eating. But I would also say you can make your own at home. So that way you can sweeten it with monk fruit, you can sweeten it with stevia, you can put whole real fruit in it. I mean, think about pineapple. Pineapple is so sweet in itself. If you put maybe like a quarter cup of pineapple or something in a plain coconut milk yogurt that you did, or a raw organic full fat milk yogurt that you made at home, that's sweetening it up right there. Or monk fruit extract is really, really sweet and very helpful as well. So there's a lot of different options there in terms of making your own. But when you're looking at the grocery store, the rule is always to read the label, and what you're probably going to find is a lot of chemicals, a lot of sugar, and a lot of things that you don't actually want. So yes, it is good for your gut. More beneficial if you can find an awesome brand. There's only a few out there that do grass-fed milk. So it's very hard to find. So if you can't make it yourself, that's what I would say. Kefir. Kefir is also really great. Yeah, same thing though. Look for, low sugar. Same thing with kombucha. So I'm not sure. So kefir is sort of like yogurt. I haven't actually done a lot with kefir. Like I'm not super familiar with it. But so it's like a milk product. It's like a yogurt thing. So I don't think it would be the same as kombucha in terms of, with kombucha, if you turn it around and read the label and it's got like 12 grams of sugar in it or something, you can actually hack that by putting it on your countertop for like another 3 to 4 days and letting it continue to ferment, which the fermentation process lets the bugs eat the sugar. And so if you find a kombucha that you like but it's just too much sugar on the label, you can put it out for 3 or 4 days, let it continue to ferment, put it back in your refrigerator and drink it, and the sugar content will be lower.
You know what you could do too is you could take that kombucha, you could open the lid, you could pour it out and go buy one that has less sugar in it.
No, but it's actually hard to find ones that only have a few grams. It really is. Like even the one you like probably has like 9 grams of sugar.
Yeah.
So you could let that sit out for a few days. Yeah, but also make your own. Like he's made kombucha before and it was really good. So I'm not sure about kefir just because I don't personally buy it. So I'm not sure how much sugar that has in it. I would assume that it sort of falls in the same line of yogurts, that they try to make it taste really good. And typically when that's the priority, a lot of sugar and chemicals ends up coming in. Hi, Kat.
Actually, one quick thing on yogurt, if anyone cares. But when I work out in the afternoon, pretty heavy, hard workout, you get the healthy yogurt that you can, throw some blueberries in it, eat that about half hour prior to working out, and it actually gives you a lot of good energy. That's why I'm here.
All right. That was helpful.
Yeah.
Hi, Michelle. Okay, so no, that's good. That's a good workout snack. If you can make your own, or if you can find like the no sugar, low sugar, higher protein content.
Last question.
No. Let's answer her probiotic question first. Okay, so
next to last question.
All right, yeah, because I want to make sure we got to that. So probiotics. So sometimes the question is like, does everybody need a probiotic, or what's the best probiotic to use? So that's sort of a broad question. I'm going to have a broad answer to it. I generally feel, I don't know, I feel like I always have to say this. I'm not a doctor and I'm not trying to cure, prevent, treat, blah, blah, blah. Okay, just assume that I said all of that legal stuff right there. You know what I'm talking about. All right, so don't, go against the advice of your doctor, blah, blah, blah. My general opinion when it comes to probiotics is that everybody should be on it. I mean, we don't eat enough fermented foods. There's so many gut problems. It's hard to get what we need in our regular diet. I mean, even when you're trying to be super incredibly healthy, it's just difficult. So probiotics are one of the supplements that I feel like pretty much everybody should always be on. And my general recommendation is that you rotate probiotics every few months. However, if you find one that you really respond to very quickly and it helps your digestion, and you just notice a really good difference, like you're not bloating anymore and you're pooping every day and all this kind of stuff because of that probiotic, then I would recommend sticking to that for a while, or maybe permanently. Maybe that has the exact strains that you need for your body, and that's perfect. Otherwise, if you don't notice a difference between them, rotating every 3 months to make sure you're kind of feeding your garden and getting different strains in there, because each of the strains has a different purpose and they have a different impact on your body, then it's helpful to sort of rotate. Now, the other caveat to that is to make sure that you are choosing high quality probiotic brands. So do your research. Maybe you're looking for a particular strain. For example, Saccharomyces boulardii is a really amazing strain. It's actually a beneficial yeast. So a lot of women that have get yeast infections or struggle with yeast overgrowth may want to try Sacro B, because it really helps your immune system and your gut, and it's a beneficial yeast that sort of helps control the negative yeast. So there's a lot of research into different probiotics, and depending on what you're trying to use them for, you might want to search for different strains in the probiotic that you get. Otherwise, just getting a high count probiotic, so probably like 5 to 10 million or 5 to 10 billion, what do they call that? Whatever, strains or count parts, whatever it is.
Parts per million?
No. It's like strains, and then there's like 5 billion, I don't know, whatever the count. You know what I'm talking about.
You want me to go look at it?
No.
Okay.
So make sure that it's got a high count on it, and then if you notice a huge difference, go ahead and keep that one. If you don't, just go ahead and rotate. And I have a few favorite brands if you really want to know what brands are good for probiotics. Oh, she just asked that, especially for kids. Okay, so for kids, the same brands that are good for us are good for them. They just might need a lower dose. So depending on how much is in there, you might actually want to split a capsule at first and put it in food. And so they do like half a capsule a day as opposed to a full capsule, depending on their age, depending on their size, depending on how they respond. And then maybe you bump it up to a full capsule. And if they can't swallow it, let's say you make them a shake or a smoothie or something, or soup or whatever it is, you can just pour that capsule right in there. Now, there are some brands, and you can Google around and kind of figure out, but there are some brands that are for infants. There may be some liquid probiotics or liposomal probiotics that, you can put under their tongue or in their mouth that, would be beneficial. I think there's even probiotics for infants where, it's liquid, and if you're breastfeeding, you can put a probiotic on your breast and get it into your baby that way. So there's a bunch of different options depending on the age, the size, the brand, things like that you want. But just remembering with children, if you're using a capsule, you may want to low dose it, break it up, and kind of build up their tolerance and see how they respond and how much it helps them. Same thing if you notice that you are a particularly sensitive individual, particularly like for those that have like autoimmune conditions and things like that and tend to react to chemicals and toxins and all this kind of different stuff. Probiotics can really make a big change in your body. And so if you're not already kind of stocked up with the good bugs and you tend to be somebody that's more sensitive, one probiotic away from food can make you feel really icky. So you might have to titrate and break it in half and start slow. And sometimes people even have to start with a quarter. But a few of my favorite brands, Megaspore Probiotic, Proflora, what's it called? Proflora, and that's from biocidin.com. Advanced Multi-Probiotics Complete. Those are a couple of my favorites. Advanced has Sacro B in it, which I really, really like. So it just sort of depends. Those are just a couple of the brands that are really awesome out there. Did you have a question?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I wasn't giving.
I hope that answered your question.
I wasn't getting in the way of that.
If you guys have more questions about that, let me know, and I can maybe post some links and stuff for you. But yeah.
Okay, somewhat related, but last question. I like your idea of eating sauerkraut with eggs in the morning. I did what I do with salsa, and I sautéed it a little and cooked it in with my eggs. Does this change the nutritional value of the sauerkraut?
Oh yeah, so sort of related because we're talking about probiotics. So we talked about kefir, we talked about yogurt, we talked about probiotics. So sauerkraut is a whole foods probiotic. So we try to get it in once a day. I haven't been super good about that recently. But one thing I found that I really, really like in terms of getting my sauerkraut in is if I make eggs in the morning, you can put sauerkraut with them, maybe salsa, and have like a Tex-Mex. And if you don't love the flavor of sauerkraut, that's a great way to do it because the salsa takes the flavor. And or the sauerkraut takes the flavor of the salsa, and so it works out really well if that's like not your thing. So does cooking it change the nutritional value? So typically I do try to eat my sauerkraut straight from the fridge. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so if you heat probiotics, you're more likely to damage them and not get the beneficial effects. So, you know, if you're going to heat everything else, like you're going to have an omelet, you're going to have eggs, whatever, just take the sauerkraut as a garnish and put it on top and get it in that way.
Yeah. That's it.
That's it?
Those are all the questions.
Yay. Thanks for joining us, guys. It was really fun. Wasn't it nice to have Patrick back? He's so entertaining.
I try.
With his Inside Out Army shirt.
Yeah, I can't go out in public.
So yeah, I almost said Saturday again. Happy Monday, you guys.
Happy Labor Day.
Happy Labor Day. That's the point. Hope you guys have a lot of fun, whether you're staying home like us or you're going to go be social and hang out with your family. But yeah, just enjoy the day and eat lots and lots of good food. And thanks for joining us, Dahlia. Thanks,
bye, Dahlia.
Becky. Happy Labor Day, you guys. And we will talk to you soon. Bye.